Hi, my name is Brandy Petarakis, and I'm the owner of Blue Bee Counseling Services. I'm a mother and wife who is passionate about life and has found joy in helping others improve their mental health. The goal of this podcast is not only to provide enriching entertainment, but to help others in their pathway to have a more fulfilling life. This in no way is a replacement for therapy. Follow us on this journey of mental health awareness. Blue Bee Counseling Services now presents this podcast, Therapist Table Talk. Hi, welcome to Therapy Table Talk. These are my friends here with me today. We're so excited. It's our first one. My name is Brandy Petarakis. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And tell us a little bit about yourselves. What's your name?
Me first.
Start with you.
I'm Tammy Johnson. I am a marriage and family studies intern for Brandy. And I'm also a mom of 5, and I've been married for about 30 years.
Mm-hmm. I'm Angela DeMello. I am a licensed clinical social worker, but I'm working in the school system right now.
That is going to be fun, which is our topic of today. But before we do that, we want to meet the face and the friendly little hide behind the person behind the video. Logan, if you'll come out here.
Hi.
That is our cute Logan. She's actually going to school and is in the BSW program at the University of Utah right now. So we're full of a lot of people wanting to help mental health today. So here's the fun topic of the day. In fact, I kind of think that maybe after we get finished talking, we can come up with like the name of the session, because I was kind of thinking right at first it might be terrible kindergartners or first graders, but I mean,
I can
really,
that.
we can come up with something at the end. But the whole point of like why we brought in you guys today is because we need to discuss kids, don't we?
Yes.
Like it has been hard. I don't know about you guys. We have, as moms, I mean, all of us are moms, and we like the months and the weeks go down, and it's almost time for school to be out, and we're like, yes, we don't have to do that carpool anymore. We don't have to make those school lunches. I don't know about you, but I've never had to make lunch for my kids. I just make them eat school lunch, and so like, but you have to remember to get them the money or pay the bills or whatever it is, and their homework needs to be done, and there's stress and chaos and everything, and by the time like that May comes, we're just like, we're done.
Exhausted.
Yes. With school. And so and then to turn around and we like go 1 week into the summer, and then we're like,
get them back in that school.
What do we do? Is there school
I will
programs?
carpool, yeah.
Is there what kind of school programs are during the summer that we can get them out of here? I love my children. I love you kids. But like really, seriously, it's difficult and hard. And so like, what are some of the things that you guys have been seeing and noticing of the why there? Why are we so quick to jump from one thing to the next?
That's a great question. I think we enjoy it. We would like routines. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes routines get hard and monotonous and tiring. And so we want a break from that. We want a little freedom. Then we have our freedom. We're like, no, we need to get back to that routine.
Get us back.
Too much freedom.
Right? The structure.
Yeah.
I know.
Definitely
It's
structure.
like I live in the structure. That's for me where there's comfort, where, there's expectations, right? You don't have to like keep reminding your kids to do this and that and this and that, because you've got structure and you kind of have that list of things that you want them to do as a parent. So as soon as that changes, it's like they go crazy, right? Summer comes, they think they can sleep in, they can eat in the living room, they can, run around without shoes on, they can go wherever, to see their friends and not tell you where they're going. So summertime can be difficult.
Yeah.
But, so true. I love that period of time during the school year where there's structure and those expectations, things that we know are going to happen every single day.
That is a good point. I love that. So do you think that it's all centered around boundaries? Like, do you think that if moms had better boundaries with their kids or set like expectations, that could be helpful in navigating like that off of school time period that might extend the 1 week and I'm ready for you to go back to maybe 2?
And a professional?
Yes.
For a professional here. Yes. I would love if parents actually had boundaries and expectations, not boundaries, and I'm sure they have, all parents, right? You have expectations, you have boundaries, you think. But how often do those boundaries start as a little square and then they grow and because we're tired as parents, we have a lot on our plate and it's really hard to hold our children accountable, which is why I love summer for parents, because they realize who their children are, who I get for 8 hours a day. So, and I think if they did hold boundaries, it would make my life in school probably a lot easier, or I would be out of a job. Because because
we
those
don't
kids
want
would
that.
have boundaries, and then the education system, I think, would be better. The behavior would be better. Teachers would actually be able to teach, and everything would be different.
That is true. What do you think about that at home as like a mom?
Keeping what I mean, like
Yeah.
keeping the boundaries.
Yes.
I don't know. At first, like when summer gets started, I am like guilty. I sleep in, right?
Oh, yeah,
I go
100%.
overboard. I think I do like the breakfast and the shaped pancakes and the, yay, we're together and we love that together time.
Let's play games. As a
In
family.
pajamas all day.
Yes,
pajamas all
pajamas
day.
all day.
No showering for the kids.
Right?
Yeah,
and
who
it's
needs
so
to shower?
nice. It's so nice
Yes.
to just kind of shake off. And May especially is like the worst month, it seems. You have to get gifts for all the teachers, teacher appreciation. You've got, all the end of school things,
Graduations.
all the
Yes,
band
yes.
stuff at school and the sports
Uh-huh.
stuff. And you just have all these things in May, and it's just so exhausting. So then when you finally have time together, it's like you all are kind of living in this high of being together. But then after that, after you kind of wear yourself out trying to be like have the best summer and make all these memories, week 2 comes and you're exhausted. But
I
then
love
the
that.
kids kind of, I don't know, I kind of think that they feel they need a little downtime too. So it's good for me, at least as a parent, to have a week or 2 where we're just being together. We're kind of just getting to know each other again.
Decompress from
decompress. But then after that, I feel like there needs to be something, right? Because I think that kids need, and I think they want to have expectations. I just throw it out there as expectations, not like list of chores and all these things you have to do. I call them expectations because they live in our house and they have to be contributing, right?
Yes.
They need to contribute. They're not just takers, because that's just not how
Let's not
the
make
world
takers.
works.
Let's not raise takers. No raising takers.
Sometimes
No
we do on
raising
accident.
takers.
An accident.
So I think, there is a time and a place for that. I think, everybody just kind of shakes off the school year, spend a little time together, and then for your mental health and for their mental health,
Oh, for sure.
you've got to establish some list or something of expectations that they can, and that you don't have to remind. I don't know. I just get tired of the reminding and the charts and things like that just get to be too much. So.
How many of us have made charts? Like charts upon charts?
Guilty.
Of like, oh, this one's going to work this
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And then mine, I don't know, it goes like, if you accomplish that job for 25 cents, then like, yay, you might get like a whole $1 by the end of the day. And then all of a sudden I'm now like, okay, $15. This job is going for $15. Who's going to take it?
I was thinking inflation. My kids, I'm not doing anything for $1.
Nope.
It's $10 per chore, or I'm not going to do it.
Right?
I know, it's so
Here, do it
funny.
as quick as I can. Don't even use cleaner.
I also think that it kind of gets into that. I love the part where you talk about expectations, because expectations are so important. Like, what are my expectations and how do I recognize, like, if they're too high? And maybe if I'm feeling super overwhelmed, like a lot of the moms that I see, maybe it's because there are some expectations that might be higher than they should be. Maybe I need to lower those a little.
Right.
I don't know about with you guys, but for me, I find that like sometimes I'm like, okay, the house needs to be clean. But if I go without dishes for a day, that might be okay. Or like if I go without doing that laundry that's been staring me at the face and the goblins are starting to come out of it, like maybe that might be okay. Just to kind of have that acceptance. Sometimes I find the acceptance is kind of the key
Right.
of the craziness. It's like that, it's not really, it's like uncharted acceptance.
There's
Or
no
like-
shame in letting your laundry sit there for 2 days.
Yes.
That's got to be okay.
We kind of put those expectations on
Yes.
ourselves,
Yes,
don't
we
we?
do. We do.
Which is kind of big and fun.
Right,
So-
because you have to be, you want to be like the best mom and the best homemaker and the best, you want to not only yourself feel like, hey, I've got all of this together, right?
Yes.
I have that done. I've checked that off my list. Look, my kids are happy, my dishes are done, right? And we kind
Yes.
of, award ourselves like, gold star if you,
The gold
if
star
you have
mom
all
award.
this done, right? And you don't want other people to think that you're falling apart.
I think recently I've had to let that go, and I've learned in the last 2 years how to let that go. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay. I've worked all day. I'm gonna connect with my children. They're fed, and it's okay for me to have my time.
Yes.
Before that was shameful to me. Like, I can't. I've got to be up and running around and dishes and laundry. It's okay. It's okay for me to stop and take a break for 2 hours, or it's okay for me not to do anything tonight, but sit with my kids and watch a movie.
Yes, so
That's gotta
changing
be it.
that acceptance. What I'm hearing from you ladies, and this is kind of making me giggle a little, is that instead of spending so much time setting up chore charts and making sure like the rules of the house are being taken place, maybe we as moms need like a gold star poster. Like that's really, we've been doing it wrong this whole entire time, ladies. Like we need to like come up with a gold star poster and like put some gold stars. All the stores in Utah are going to be gone, or everywhere else are going to be gone with gold stars this week.
I call those soda
So-
runs. Gold star for me, I'm going to go get a drink, you know.
Yeah.
Drive
We're
through and
digging
get my
into
Coke.
the
Yeah.
chocolate stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So having some acceptance for self and loving self and like allowing things, I think sometimes we can allow things to change a little bit and to like lower our expectations in order just to kind of survive and get through life a little, which is so beautiful.
And know that it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be up here and you don't have to be perfect. No, you said that earlier. We put that on ourselves.
Yeah.
So letting go just a little bit. And I think you'll have a more fulfilling life.
Because really, what are the kids going to remember?
Right.
They are going to remember some of those fun things you did. They are, little traditions that the beginning of the summer, we have pajama day and we do make shaped pancakes and,
Yes.
those little traditions. But that's what they're going to remember. They're going to remember you sitting on the floor and playing with them. And I mean, granted, I am one for order, right? In the home, I feel like you can't really be comfortable and relaxed in a home that's just chaotic, right?
Yes.
With stuff laying everywhere. So there does need to be that level of, where you do keep those types of things together.
Yes.
But I would say overall, the memories, the time that you spend with your kids and with your family, with people, is really ultimately what matters.
I love the 6-to-1 ratio. Like the one day we spend to like get the whole family integrated together to like combat some of the things that need to be done. But then the 6 of like, okay, let's have some fun and do what we need to. But at the end of the day, let's clean up because that 1 ratio, we don't want it to be too overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
So the 6-to-1
And it's
ratio.
different for
And
everybody.
can we connect while we're doing those things?
Exactly.
Right? Can we have a dance party
Oh, heck
for
yeah.
5 minutes while we're cleaning up
Yes.
the toys all over the ground?
Yeah, we need to see that maybe one of these days.
Yeah. I will
dance
video that and
party.
bring it
Dance
in.
party.
This is
A
how we
dance
do it in
party
our
with
house.
Angela's
Well, and I have to
family.
say, I'm proud
Coming to you
because
next.
my kids know all the 80s songs.
Oh, really?
Because of our dance parties. Yep.
love that.
So I've passed that on to the next
like
generation.
Thriller?
The love of the 80s. Yep.
Oh.
Everybody, Bryan Adams and Michael
love
Jackson. And
Yes.
so
Oh,
I
that's
was going to
great.
say some hard rock ones because that's my husband likes the hard rock.
Yes.
But
Yeah. That is wonderful. I think that this is so well. What do you think is like a takeaway that you can like kind of give to the moms that are listening today or watching today of like just your final piece of advice from a professional, a licensed professional, as well as from like a mom standpoint? And maybe not even just moms, but even like new therapists out there that are getting these moms coming into their office that are dealing with some of the overwhelmed feelings and it's been a week and I'm ready for my kids to go back to school. And
I always say, even to teachers right now, it's hard for them too. So
Ooh,
teachers,
and
moms,
teachers.
everybody, and teachers. When teachers come and they're struggling, I say, what is the end goal? At the end of the day, when you sit down, what is it that you want to have accomplished? Or what do you want to feel at the end of the day? And let's work on that. So if you want to feel I'm accomplished in what? In connecting with my kids, then make that a priority for the day.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to feel it's really going to be important to me to get this, this, and this done, then that's what we need to focus on for the day. But don't overwhelm yourself. Pick one goal or pick how do I want to feel successful when I get in bed?
yeah, I love that.
And
'Cause
what
I
is that
think
gonna take?
A lot of us feel like we have to do all of it, right? But at the end of the day, we have to have all of these things done. But in reality, I love what you just said, that there's maybe 1 or 2 things that we can really just focus on. And I think we know our families and what their needs are. And so it's just taking the time, making their needs a priority. And what is it that we need as a family? What is it that, maybe 1 or a couple of my kids are struggling in different things? So I think that's great.
And every
I love
day
that
it's
advice.
going to be different.
that is true. I
Some
think
days
that's
you're like, this child really needs me, and my focus is all on this one child. They're struggling, I can tell. It's been a hard week, or they're in high school, or whatever it is. And then sometimes that child's fine, and maybe it's you, or maybe it's your marriage, or whatever you need to focus on. So it's going to change every day.
Do you know what I heard in that whole thing is maybe it's you.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Maybe it is me. Like all of his moms are like,
yeah.
I heard that again. It's me. No, it's true. But I love that point. I think for me, it's that like uncharted acceptance of like going into things, having these expectations of this is how it's going to be. And like, let's do mom parties and have kids over for playing. And then things just become like a big mess.
too
And
much.
so it's like acceptance of like the chaos kind of has to be there, I think. Or like, it's okay not to be okay. Like, it's okay. I think my Diet Coke intake kind of goes up during the summer, you know? And like cookie intake, I usually, like, I try to balance the gaining of pounds by like all the cookies that I take and eat.
I think I just heard your podcast title right now.
Oh.
It's okay, not the Diet Coke. It's okay to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay just to be okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll
Not
be
to
okay.
be the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all survive. Let's be honest. Every day we're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
We're all in survival mode.
Especially after the last couple of years.
Especially after the last couple of years, we're just trying to survive. So it's okay.
It's okay.
But
I think it's,
I don't know. I was going to say, moms are the heart of the home. Mm-hmm. I mean, whether we like it or not. I mean, we have this innate, this nurturing, right? And this emotional awareness, I think that in families is so needed, right? For us to take the time to really get into what it is that our children need and what we need, what our spouses need, partners need. And so I think that there's a level of responsibility. And so for us to work on ourselves, to make sure we're taking care of ourselves, making sure that we are, not trying to overachieve or underachieve or whatever. We just we need to find what works for us and really be that heart for, the people in our lives. So,
Because as we've seen,
yes.
you're exactly right. If my mother was a high achiever, very anxious, perfectionist, that's in me now as a child. And that's what we're teaching our children.
Good point.
So, if we
and
can
they're
teach our
never
kids-
going to feel good enough.
Right.
Even if
Exactly.
they do achieve.
Yeah.
So, I like that. That's a great
Yeah,
reminder.
that is a great reminder. I think those things, and then like those of you like that are listening that have that feeling of, oh crap, we're all scanning back through our kids and going like, oh, they have that problem because of me.
Yeah. I messed them up.
I messed them up and it's all because of me.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a great reminder now to be like, okay, you were human. Like if you
Yes.
would have known differently back then, you would have done it differently. And so, congratulations for knowing it now.
Yeah.
And changing things now and working on things now. And that's the way to go for your future. And then forgiving yourself for the things that you didn't know or that you shoulda, coulda, woulda if you would have known how. Or you had the energy to do it. Because sometimes I knew how back then. But I was like, I don't have the energy to do it.
Yes, that's.
Yeah.
I think that's something humility to even say to our kids, "It's been a long day. I'm really sorry. I need to take a break for myself so I can be present for you." Or just showing them, apologizing, showing them that we're not perfect. Life is not perfect, but this is how we're going to handle it. I'm really stressed. How am I going to handle that? Am I going to yell at everybody? Is that how I show my stress? No, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to take a few minutes for myself and maybe make a list. I need to handle this, then this, then this to calm myself down. And then again, the kids take away from that. So it's better, I think, to be human and not perfect because your children are going to be better in society.
Yes.
Be
But I like that
more
show
adapt.
from start to finish. Like, this is how we handle things. And even if we're not perfect at it, we're at least trying, and we can be that example for them. And then they can take that in other parts of their life, like we're talking about, going back to school. If, they can't just get upset and throw things and stomp out and, whatever, and behave in that way. They really have to learn how to manage themselves when they're outside of the house too. So teaching those basic skills when you're at home is going to just help when they go back to school and with their own peers and things, teachers.
And that's exactly what we're seeing right now in the school system. We're seeing kids who don't know how to emotionally regulate, kids who don't know how, when their bodies feel stressed, they don't know the words for it, but they feel it. They don't know what to do with that. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing a lot of aggression at school, especially at the playground, not coping, the throwing things, the just, I can't do it, right? Hitting the wall, stomping out. Our children these days just have a hard time emotionally regulating and knowing what to do when their bodies feel tense and tight.
I think this is a good place to kind of switch over to that because I saw this this article and it's just Stress and Short Tempers, School Struggle with Behavior as Students Return by Kaylin Belsha. But I think this is interesting because she actually talks about the anger and the aggression, which is so profound. She said that it's actually from being after COVID and coming back to schools, they have found that it's up 20%, that they're actually kids that wouldn't have fought or didn't fight before are now like getting into fights and causing a lot more problems. And this is all, of course, based on just her information of what she found in this study. But I thought it was really interesting that, she felt like that everybody's off on their kind of their own little la la land, and where the kids used to go out and play and they would have to be directed to like socially distance on the playground when they're playing and they're 6 feet apart, that now they don't know how to formulate conversations and how to like regulate their emotions and talk about things with people because they've been very integrated into self-confining at home and not being able to interact appropriately. What do you guys, have you noticed any of that, like conflict resolution that's happening in your school systems for that?
Yes, this
Tell
is where
us,
you
Ange.
enter a licensed clinical social worker in the school system and why it's more important.
Yeah.
I agree with everything that you just said with that article. We are seeing higher levels of behavior, higher levels of aggression. Kids do not know how to socialize. They don't know how to make friends. So I am doing basic things right now in the school. This is how you make a friend. Would you like to play with me? That's okay. I can share that ball. Basic skills that children should know, but they do not know. High aggression. It goes back to that their bodies are so stressed right now, they don't know what to do with it. 2 years of COVID, think. They've either been masked or not in school. 2 years of not face-to-face interaction with people.
Well, in their homes. You know,
And-
like the
and their
parents,
homes.
somebody losing jobs, mom
Right.
coming home from work. I mean, there's such the up and down.
Can we also say that the aggression at home too? Like
gosh.
with two parents now working together side by side at homes, there's
With
a lot
kids,
with
yes.
kids. There's a lot more like anxiety and anger. We're talking about moms being home with their kids during the summertime. Could you imagine all year long and then trying to do your job while your husband's in the other room and the kids are not on their schooling that they're supposed to be doing? Like there's a lot of
And not being able to go have a play date. It's like, no, don't talk to the neighbor. You can't go over there. Right? Because we were in this confined society for so long. Yeah, the stress level is high and the kids are feeling it. And we call them COVID kids, sadly. Kindergartners right now coming in, a different breed of kids that we're seeing. And it's really sad. And we're trying to figure out why. Why are kindergartners, the behaviors are off the charts
really
right now in kindergarten and first grade. Let's think back the last 2 to 3 years. They don't know
like
what it's
3,
like to
4,
socialize.
yeah. Wow.
They don't know what it's like to leave their home and go out and play and interact. They don't know that life. So it's their brains are wired different now.
They don't know McDonald's play place.
They don't. They're all closed.
What?
Yes. All the play places. That's a great
Yes.
example. All the play places are closed. Parks were closed for so long. You can't go to the
Yes.
park. You can't play. Kids don't know how to play. They don't know how to play, and it's really hard for them to socialize and
what have we done?
regulate.
Guiltily, as a parent,
We put them in front of TV.
we provide digital outlets for them. You know, they're able to talk to their friend, right? They can't physically be with them, but hey, through their video games, they can actually talk and interact. But you're right, it's a totally different environment.
Right. And what we're learning from that is we see on the brain scans of these kids that the brain activity, the longer that they've been on electronics, the brain activity lessens and lessens and lessens. Because really boredom creates, right?
creates
When you are bored, it
creativity.
creates creativity. You are creative. And we haven't let our kids be bored. It's like, oh, here's an iPad. Here's what, grocery store. Have you been into a grocery store? Right? Parents are pushing their kids and here's an iPhone. So that way you don't cry.
Or
you
little,
don't,
even tiny.
So you're not bored when we drive to the store. Let's turn on a movie in the car.
And I have been totally guilty of this.
we all are
We all
guilty.
are guilty. And that's the thing that, like, recognizing you moms at home that are listening right now, don't feel the shame from this.
No.
Don't feel bad from this. That's not what we're producing here. What we're producing is awareness, like awareness of like setting boundaries, because it's also very important for our people or for our kids to also understand how to navigate electronics and to use them, because when they grow up, they're going to be very behind if they don't. So it's like setting that boundary word again. Maybe the new word,
Boundary.
the new word of the
of the day.
podcast.
We
or
have
the
a voice
video.
that comes from behind us that says boundaries.
Boundaries, setting boundaries or appropriate limitations on this. Like Angela said, like creating the diversity of like allowing your children to be bored and to let them have that moment while also giving them an iPad, because as moms, we're about to kill our kids.
Well, because I think we give in, right?
Yes, definitely.
Mom, I'm support. Mom. And you're just like, I've got a Zoom call I have to be on. I have a report I have to write. You know, my
Yes.
he's in the middle of a phone call, so shh, be quiet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we have all of these adult responsibilities that the children don't understand. So, you know, we're in that working at home COVID 2 years. It's
Yes.
not, I don't feel like we did it with malintent.
No.
You know, we
No.
just tried to get by.
It goes back that we're trying to survive every day. And
Yeah.
that's what allowed us to survive. So what can we do now? I do basic things at school, like play a game. Do your kids know how to play checkers? Most don't. Well, Connect Four, Monopoly, basic games. And these games will teach them, it's okay, we need to take turns. I need to be patient. Kids don't understand patience right now. That's interesting too. That's another thing that I've been seeing, that they're not patient. They want it right now, right? It's my turn. I got to be at the front of the line, or I'm raising my hand, and the teacher's not calling on me. And then we see these big emotions because the teacher didn't call on me. Well, you have to wait your turn. There's 20 other kids in the classroom, 29 actually.
So instilling empathy for other people.
And it's how do we do these basic things and not, oh, you can't have any iPads, you can't ever watch TV, and now we're going to teach you skills. No, we can do little things like, oh, just wait 1 second, or give me 5 minutes and let me get back to you, or let's play a game. We can change now by doing basic things.
Yeah, one little small change at a time.
One little small thing.
I like that.
Who would have thought that like our school system has gone back to like the crazy ages of becoming almost the mothers in a way. Not necessarily because our moms are so busy and doing so many things, but now we're finding that there's that lack that's kind of in there of really finding ways to teach our children game playing and patience, and doing that through game playing. Like, I think I would have loved going back to school then, to go back and play checkers. Like, that would have been the best day ever.
And I tell parents, come on over. Foursquare. Kids don't know how to play Foursquare. I did an activity at the end of last year for a reward party, which was volleyball. No idea. They were like, what do I do with this? It's volleyball. Like, this is the game. There's 10 kids right in front of the net. I'm like, no, we do. It's just these basic things that for some reason we just think that they know.
Yes.
And they don't. But come to the school. Come play. And that's the best way to connect with your kids too. Play with them. How often do we play? As a mom, I don't. I'm busy. I'm like, no, you need to go do this. I have to do this, this, and this, and this, right? The playtime, that's not me. I don't have time to play.
That's so interesting, because there is some studies actually where they've gone down on figuring out exactly how much was the least amount of time that you have to provide for your kids in order to gain a connection with them. And you guys are going to be floored at this. I mean, listen to this. They said 5 minutes a day. That was it. That is all you need to gain a connection with your children on a ground-based level where they can feel connected to you, to come and talk to you about things, and to eliminate some traumas from when we do yell at them, or when we do things that kind
which
of
happens, because it's okay. It's okay to be okay.
We're just normalcy trying to be okay in that too. Yeah. And as moms, like, really, we want you to feel loved and basically understood that it's hard right now. And the things, you're not alone. Yeah. New name, new title. You are not alone. What is our title today? We're going to come up with one.
You're not alone. It's okay to be okay. Boundaries. I also, tell parents 5 minutes sometimes seems to be a lot in that moment. So I do the 3-3-3, which ends up being more than 5 minutes. But right when they wake up in the morning, 3 minutes. Good morning. Love you. Let me give you a big hug. This is your clothes for the day, right? 3 minutes. When they get home from school, 3 minutes. Checking in with them. Tell me the most important thing from the day. I think as parents, we say, how was your day? Good. Great. Right? Let's ask a more specific question. Like, what was the best thing that happened to you today?
Yeah. So it's not yes or no.
So it's not a yes or no. They have to actually talk, right? Those are your 3 minutes. At
those communication majors, it's like open-ended questions.
Right. With like one question, though. You're talking one question that could then change and begin an interaction with your child.
Like, what's the best thing that happened today?
What's the best thing?
Oh, what was the most difficult thing? Or what was anything make you sad today? What made you happy?
I love the gold nuggets of truth. Like, what is that gold nugget thing that you're going to take away and learn something from today that's going to really help you in your future life? And they're like, Mom! I'm like, sorry, I know. But those things are fundamental and important. Yes. It's critical to their growth and development of like recognizing and figuring those things out and implementing them if they can, because then when the times do get hard or things become difficult, they can say, oh wait, like, it's not never I'm always sad, or like my day is always terrible, like all day long.
Those
or whatever.
Words, right? Yeah. Always, never. Yes. Yeah. And I think when you do that, the 3-3, and then at night for the 3 minutes, right? I'm tucking you in, I'm saying good night. Anything I can do for you, love you, see you tomorrow. The kids know I have something important to share. I know I'm going to get this 3 minutes, this 3 minutes, this 3 minutes with my mom, or an adult, right? A grown up in the home. So, and that goes with boundaries and expectations. They know, okay, my mom's going to tuck me in, and this is where I'm going to tell them about maybe something hard that's happening or something I'm going through, because you always want that open communication.
Yes. We find that in the car.
Yes.
The car is like the gold mine of like love from children, like, or like educational thing. Like if I want to teach my children something, I have them in the car. They can't open the doors and jump out, ladies. Like they can't escape me. But I also have to be very careful with that too, because like sometimes I find myself wanting to add everything in there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, and you should really be kind to your friends. And did you recognize the way that you said this the other day? And then it can be like, oh my gosh, I do everything
Instead of a
bad.
connection, it's like a correction.
Yes.
Correction.
That's a great, yes, that's a
New
great
word of the
term.
day. There we go. There's
Yep,
our new
connection.
podcasting.
But
Correction
let's
versus
reverse
connection.
that also. You're saying it's a time for you to teach your kids, but it's also like those children know, oh, my mom's not on her phone right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's sometimes how I disconnect. Like, I just gotta look at Instagram. I'm gonna text my texting group. They know mom's not gonna have her phone because she has to have her hands on the wheel and she has to be. That's their time to then connect with us, give their connections or corrections to us as parents. So it goes both ways.
I love that. I think that is so fun. Did you notice that I started out with like, it only takes 5 minutes a day, and Angela upped it to an
6.
extra minute to 6.
9, 3, 3, and 3.
Sorry,
9.
ladies.
Oh, that's 9. Well,
Three.
that's
Nine more times.
Yeah, that's right. There was. I can't
There's
even
a
count.
third.
That's
There's a
okay.
3.
Take one out and just do 3 threes somewhere.
Take it out, pass it
Sometime.
around.
Take the 5, divide it by 3, and whatever works.
But it's almost like crossroads, right? Like when you first meet in the morning, it's like your paths are crossing. That would be a great time to just connect. And then when they get home or you get home, another crossroads, another time for connection. And then before you head off to bed and they head off to bed or whatever, it's like it's another connection, another opportunity for connection.
And morning, for my sake and my job, it would be great for connection with the parent in the morning. So when you send your child to school, the child's not already escalated or emotional.
Yeah. Hurry up, we gotta go.
Right.
Hurry
So many
up,
times, like, the kids are crying, like, my mom wouldn't let me in my shoes untied and she yelled at me. Yeah, because we're just trying to do the best we can. And you have to be at school at a certain time because now we have tardies and absences, right? That's a whole other level. So, but just that connection of sitting down, like, oh, have a great day. Just something to give them a good feeling when they walk into the doors where I then greet
like
them.
sending them off into their day, just like we wouldn't want somebody to be like, come on, hurry up, Tammy, come on. Well, you should have known you were wearing that. Why do you have to iron that now? Oh, you didn't get your
could've done
lunch
that
together.
last
What were
night.
you doing last
Yeah.
night? Why can't you
Yeah.
get that right? Oh, well, all these little things. I think that we don't think if it were us, we would have a problem with it. But because they're our children and we have our own adult agenda, we forget sometimes that they have feelings and, they're going to have their own experiences during the day. They have their own things that they're afraid of and challenges and things, even though they're at, a small child level. So sending them off with that elevated, crying, upset, a fight about shoes or a fight about a coat or a fight about whatever, it's like, it's really maybe not the time. Maybe we can address that at one of those other 3 times.
It sets them
I
up
love
for a
that.
hard day.
I love that. I think that is awesome. Okay, so now let's say that does happen. And then you're in the car and you're driving them to school or you're about to send them to the bus stop or they're like leaving outside the door. What is like a quick way we can turn that really fast? Because sometimes we just do it and we don't recognize it until like right when it hits us in the face. Do you have any suggestions on ways that our moms can like integrate that and change that in like a quick 1 minute or 30 seconds?
You're looking at me, but
Yes. Both of you.
Something I think, because you can always, and that goes back to, we're not perfect, we had a hard morning, how do we change that around? There's a great opportunity now to teach, is a teaching moment. I would stop, I would definitely eye contact, right? I would touch, be like, Johnny, I'm sorry it was a hard morning. And give them a compliment. Not you're great, not you're good, something specific. Like you worked really hard this morning, whatever the a compliment about the child. You worked
picked
really
up all
hard
my
this morning.
toys this
Yes,
morning.
thank you for picking up your toys. I didn't even ask
got
you.
your backpack ready.
You
all
got
by yourself.
Oh my gosh, you put your shoes on by yourself. I saw that. Great job. I appreciate you, and I really love you. Have a good day.
Yeah, those
Just
are the
something,
moments.
just a quick, but it doesn't. That's way too long. Just quick. But eye contact, a touch, and something to feel that like, oh, my mom loves me, or that adult loves me.
that.
Yeah.
love, yeah.
Did you see that? We just got a new theme to our whole session today. Eye contact. What was it? Touch
A compliment.
and a
a
compliment.
compliment.
Yeah, there we go. That's beautiful. I think that this has been so much fun. Leaving here right now and leaving our moms with something phenomenal to kind of, I say phenomenal, but any sort of tidbits to help them recognize like, they're not alone in this. This is like hard and difficult. And like we're navigating new normals that we've never had to like navigate before. And, and I get these moms that come into my office and I am just like listen, like there's no books on this. Nobody has ever written a book about your kids going through COVID and you going through COVID and having to socially eliminate yourself from the entire world. And now years later, here we are sitting there and we're still suffering from it. And like your kids are going to have like all sorts of behavioral issues, or you might have some, and things have been changed with your own personalities or whatever it is. And that it's okay. And that we're all going to come to it together, and to have a little bit of like allowing themselves the freedom to love themselves a little bit through their mistakes, and to notice and recognize that they are humans and that we all make mistakes and it's okay. And probably if we were to vocalize this out to everybody, that all your friends would feel this way too, right?
That's true.
Or everybody feels this way. Or like sometimes I sit in my office with my people and they're like, I feel this way. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, I do too.
That right there, Brandy, is can we cue the High School Musical that we're all in this together? Just a reminder that we are doing this together. That, and I tell my parents, it takes a village. That's why I am here as a social worker in the school. Then we have you, then we have the teacher. It takes a village right now to help these kids be emotionally healthy.
That's
so
awesome.
it takes a village. And you're not alone. We are doing this together.
Yep. And it's worth the effort.
Yes.
It is worth the effort. Yeah, it's worth the effort. And not to give up.
Oh,
right. Sometimes I see the
so
double
hard on
birds in my
ourselves.
mind, and I'm like, just it's all over. Like instead of thinking like, no, it's just a bad moment, or
take a deep breath. Again, at the end of the night, what do we want to sit down and think? Yeah. I had 5 minutes with my kid. My child was great for 5 minutes, or even that, right?
Yes.
Just something, a win. What win can you take away from the day?
Yeah.
Because we have lots of wins, but we tend to not focus on those. Right. We focus on the bad parts or the whatnots or our losses.
Or we beat ourselves with that guilt stick.
With the guilt stick. Just what wins? Let's focus on that. Focus on the positive of what did you accomplish. Not what you didn't do, but what did you do today?
Well, because that helps your perspective. Mm-hmm. If you're focusing on what you did right, what's good, I think that motivates you for the next day and to look. But if you beat yourself up and you're, laying there and you're just feeling horrible about one or two little things that happened, and then the next day you kind of start off with kind of in that, more of a defeated feeling.
Yeah, I eat more cookies when that happens.
Right. Cookies are healthy. I think cookies are good for your emotional health. It's really important to stay balanced in everything. We always need it. So we are in this together, and you're right. We are navigating territories that none of us know. So
exactly. That is true. And what about for those new therapists that are out there that are getting these kids that are struggling in school, or these moms that are just feeling so defeated? Do you have any good suggestions on some integrative therapies or some thoughts that these new therapists can take over and help them when they're navigating this that's coming into their office?
Here's my advice for parents and for therapists to the parents is give your kid a moment. Give your kid a place to just speak their mind. You were mentioning the fears. These students have fears. You're thinking, you're only 6. Like, that's not a big deal. To them, it's a huge deal. It is their life. But give them a place to express themselves. That's number one. The second thing I would tell therapists, or advice to give therapists, what skill then can you give your child? Again, we were talking about playing a game. Mm-hmm. So we're connecting, but we're also teaching our child a skill. So go some basic. Let's just go back to the basics.
Yeah. Teaching patience, or combating their fears, or recognizing those deep, dark gremlins that are kind of getting in there and invading something, and what's kind of getting in the way. I think that that's a big one too. I love when I have my kids, the struggles that are kids coming in is sometimes I think as a new therapist, and I don't know if you struggle with this at all, but I was like, I have to contain this now, and I've got to fix it now. And I think sometimes recognizing this is not a sprint. This is a marathon of things that have to take place over time, and integrating little things. I can't tell you how many times I have clients come into my office and they're like, if you would have told me that 3 years ago at the very beginning, we'd be done by now. And I'm like, I did. I did. Yeah. Oh, you weren't ready to hear it, And so sometimes it takes that process of them hearing something in order to fundamentally apply it into their lives, and then add something new in each time. And so I think that, allowing patience to set in, allowing them to see something a little bit differently, allowing them to change, and in their way that they need to change. I also think that this is the crazy part is don't be afraid as new therapists to reach out to the kids' teachers. To actually create like a coordination of treatment plans, to bring in the parents to talk about the parenting that's kind of happening, to talk to the teachers or the psychologist, at the schools, or the therapist, like Angela. Call Angela, talk to Angela. She'll help you out, and maybe the coordination between each other, if we're all on the same page, might help, elevate the level of healing that could happen.
That goes back to it takes a village. And I ask for, permission. I talk to the therapist of the student if they're seeing a therapist. I meet with the parents. We meet with the psychologist. We meet with the principal. We meet with the teacher. It takes a village. It's all of us working together for the sake of your student. But change can only happen if we give our kid a voice. So it starts with that. They need a voice to express themselves before we can come up with any kind of a plan. Because maybe what we think, and sometimes this happens in the school, like, I'm going to teach these kids this and this social skill, but maybe that's not what they need. If I don't listen to them, I don't know what they need. Mm-hmm. And I'm teaching them something that maybe they already know. So again, they need a voice. Listen to what they're saying and then go from there with whatever you need to teach them.
That goes into like the listen, hear, validate, understand, and help them feel understood type of feelings. I like that because we all need that, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day. It was funny because when Angela was touching me and being like, "You are okay," I'm like, "Oh,
we all need touch. Yeah, we all need. It goes back to, and that goes back to the COVID, right? We're not supposed to touch anybody.
Yes.
And so I'm always like, "How you doing? Have a good day." To kids, I don't think they don't get a lot of. They're so used to, oh yeah, don't breathe on me, don't look at me, right? Don't touch me. So we need more contact. We are humans, and humans thrive on connection.
Yes. And it's an extra level that it does take to touch people.
Thank you.
Touch people.
So to all you new moms out there, go hug another mom. That's my advice. Go get a drink, get some donuts, cookies, and go hug a mom. Do your Peloton. Reach out to other moms. Connect with other moms who are going through what you are to support you.
Even if you don't know that they are.
Everybody is.
Everybody's going through something.
As a therapist, you realize that everybody's going through something.
Yep. That is very true. What a beautiful statement. But I would like to finalize this by just reaching out and telling all moms out there, yes, it is okay to be just okay. And it's also okay to not be okay. Mm-hmm. And whatever we decide on for the theme of the day, for our title for this podcast and video session, is maybe, through this, we can find a way to make things just a little bit better. Because by just making it a little bit better every day, if we just try to make things just a little better, maybe things will become 30% better by the end of the year. And I mean, I'd take a 30% better, don't you think? A 30% better, even over the school summertime, 30% better sounds nice. So
just one thing, just focus on one thing.
Yeah, just focus on one thing.
And as moms, you matter. You matter.
That's good. That is really good. I love that. Well, thank you for being here with me today. I'm so grateful. I think that this is an awesome place for us just to sit and love each other and tell the moms out there how much we care about you. This no way takes over therapy. If you or a loved one is struggling, please make sure that you reach out, talk to somebody, find somebody, get a hold of another therapist, talk to them, get in with somebody. Just be willing to open your mouth and share the things that are struggling, because you might find that other people are struggling with the same thing you are too. So thanks for being here with today. And thanks for the triple T is what we're going to call this session, the therapist table talk, because this is where we integrate a lot of therapy here. They're struggling right now. People cannot get into therapists. And so this is one of those, we're hoping, as a facilitating way to help them see that they can get a little bit of an extra education for those little small things that they're struggling with without it taken away from actual therapy. So thanks for being here today. Thanks for sharing and being here with us today. If you have any comments or questions, you're welcome to reach out to us on our website. It's www.bluebcs.com, which is where we're sponsoring this whole thing, is through Blue Bee Counseling Services. We also like to say a little thank you to Moonphase Marketing for helping us with all of our digital and fun advertising and all the fun stuff that goes with marketing that we have no idea about. So thank you for doing all of that. And until next time, you'll see our next topic, and we're so excited to see you. Thanks for staying. Bye.